to the sit-down talk in the barbershop at the Fine Gentleman. Thank you for coming over. Thank you for sharing your ideas. We just want to, have a guys talk here. So I'll go right off the bat. I'll ask you a question, and which is quite relevant today. Marvel and DC. I mean, if you were to pick which one, do you think at this point with all the movies of DC coming out and they've showed their trailers of Justice League.
Wonder Woman pa rin, babae pa rin, no?
Do you think DC has overtaken or at least is at par with Marvel or will surpass Marvel once the movies come?
I'm a DC Comics fan. That's why I had high expectations for DC Cinematic Universe. But, kain eh.
In what way?
In every way, like script, plot, talking about, Civil War. It was a superhero cartoon movie, but they tapped on political views and real world views, which you could say Dark Knight has, but not the Batman vs Superman, not Man of Steel, not. It's the overall, like, they captured, like, Marvel Cinematic Universe captured everything. They had, like, a bunch of different superheroes. And they all had their own stories in one movie, and they played that movie. And for me, my biggest thing lang with the DC movies right now, it's just you're dealing with gods and aliens that are invincible, and it's hard to humanize them the way Marvel humanized Thor. And it's just so huge now when it comes to visual effects. It's just not realistic anymore. It's just too much electricity.
I think it's the whole concept also of, these are when you compare the meta-humans of Marvel compared to the meta-humans of DC, I think at any given day, Superman can beat anyone from even, the Hulk. I mean, you've got Wonder Woman who's probably equally strong as Superman going up against who in Avengers. But these guys, like the superpowers of except for Batman, but Batman's like Tony Stark, right? Bruce Wayne. In terms of the darkness of they have different feels. If you compare Marvel and DC, if you look at their movies, they have different feels. Like you see Marvel with brighter colors, compared to DC having their movies really dark, and you feel
humor also is different.
Yeah, humor is different, right?
I would agree with Al in terms of how Marvel managed to build their universe. It was well thought of, anywhere from the movie itself to Easter eggs to end credits to
They pressed the panic button when because Marvel probably when they decided to come out with their movies, they planned everything from A to Z, right? You could see it and you can feel it. But DC, when they probably realized that, we have to come out with our movies as well, was it too late? Because now that Avengers and all this, they have like a huge head start. Now DC has to actually start catching up, and they can't, if they go the pace of the normal way, they'd probably end up so far behind. So they're speed.
For me, like yung mga previous na movies like Spider-Man, parang it's a Marvel now eh. Like very, even growing up as a child, you picture the movie as wow.
Yeah.
But then I think they drifted away from that. They don't want to compete against Marvel and kind of have their own world na let's make it dark. Let's make it
more serious.
More serious.
I disagree. I actually think they started off with that, and then they had bad reviews with Batman vs Superman, so they made Suicide Squad colorful. It was supposed to be not that colorful.
The characters naman in Suicide Squad are like Guardians of the Galaxy, na parang they were meant to be comical. They were meant to be colorful. But if you go back now to probably the succeeding movies, you can see the preview and trailer of like Aquaman and the Justice League. It still has the same feel. Yeah, it still has the same feel. Do you think they chose the right characters? Like one controversial one was Ben Affleck being Batman. Like if you look at Marvel, did they ever question any character that was chosen to play a specific character or role in the Marvel universe? Compared to DC, like people are even questioning the way they chose, who to play. Like Gal she was a question. Like, was she really fit to be Wonder Woman? A lot of people are questioning.
She's super fit.
Yeah. I mean, are people just hating on DC too much when actually they should give DC a bit of credit? What do you think?
They're in a very difficult situation, I think. I mean, they're better now, especially with the success of Wonder Woman. But Marvel, the way they built.
It's hard to do the story with DC because all of them are super strong. And ano pang story gagawin mo? Hindi pa kakalabanin nila para matalo sila. Parang
But kasi in the comics, they were already set. Like with Wonder Woman, they have already a set arch nemesis, and then you have all these guys prepared already in the comics. The thing with that, and I think the difficulty that they have is, like with Batman versus Superman, you didn't expect. Sorry, spoiler, but you didn't expect Doomsday to be in that movie right there because it was a big milestone in the whole DC comics for Superman to actually die because of Doomsday. And he's on the first big major movie wherein they're trying to form the Justice League. They have Doomsday right away there. Like you would have expected Doomsday to be at the latter part. He's like the ultimate
Or like Man of Steel Part 2. Or...
Here's one thing that I want to bring up, like Marvel's like themes and all that. Parang walang it was well polished. When it comes to like say just as specific as an example, Batman vs Superman. Batman and Superman only teamed up because they had the same mom. And the name of the mom. It's like you don't see that in Marvel. Like it's again, it comes back to because you expect so much from the DC comics that it's well written. Na ganun yung pedestal ng DC comics. Tapos pagdating sa movies, parang
even the cartoons, diba?
So what's the factor? What's the factor that's causing this let's say the falling apart of DC?
I think it's the writing.
I think it's what Gab said na they jumped the gun. Like I think they're writing things off the pressure na Marvel is making so much money. As opposed to okay, let's do our own thing. Let's take our time and we're actually
exactly. They took their time, made good movies, made good scripts. Like if na-connect nila ng maayos lahat like what Marvel did, even though na hindi sila nagka-catch up with the stories and everything and the movies. Feeling ko it's mas ma-appreciate ng tao.
But you have Marvel with also really poor movies, right? Like you got Marvel with. Would you say that the cast had a lot to do with the way people perceive Marvel and DC nowadays? You've got Tony Stark, who is Robert Downey Jr., and the way him alone is a lot of, like he builds a lot of hype. That's Robert Downey and the way he acts, right? And then you've got, Ben Affleck playing Batman now. So,
I think the greatest example there would be Ant-Man. How would you make Ant-Man cool? You know what I mean? Like, if you saw the trailer, you'd be like, yeah, right, like, oh my god. But when you watch it, you're just like, oh, wow, this movie was amazing, right? So I think it's also the writers and the way they build their cast and their crew and their the whole staff. It's so hard because I'm such a big DC fan and I love the movies, but definitely Marvel is a level higher, definitely.
All right, we'll go one round and then I'll find out what you guys. I'll go this way first. Yeah. Marvel. Sad. Okay. All right. So thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Joe.